right, you're welcome back, and still on the interview segment, we're going to be looking at drug. We're going to be looking at drug abuse, the preventive measures to take, and also to bring to your doorstep everything you have to know about drug abuse. And joining me this morning on that conversation is pharmacist Francisca Nwejike. Pharmacist, good morning. Good to have you.
Good morning, ma'am. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here again.
All right, thank you for joining us. And so we're going to be looking at drug abuse. Before we go further to the preventive measures and how to identify drugs that, how to identify that we have been abusing drugs, I wanted to do a recap on drug abuse. What exactly is drug abuse and how do one abuse drugs?
All right, thank you very much again. Before we get into drug abuse, I'd like to start from the very basic. When you hear drug, what comes to mind? Now, a drug is any substance at all, aside food, that has the ability to alter the state of the body. Could be physical states, physiological states, psychological states, or even the biological state of the body. Any substance at all that can alter the state of the body is known as a drug. Now, drugs are divided, broadly classified into three for the sake of this meeting, this presentation. Firstly, medicines. Medicines are the good guys in quotes, the ones you take that are used for prevention, for diagnosis, prevention, and management of illnesses. Those are medicines. For instance, the analgesics, paracetamol, ibuprofen, antibiotics, and the others that are generally used to manage disease conditions. They are known as medicines. And then we go to the socially acceptable drugs. They are legal, but they're social drugs. For instance, the alcohol, tobacco, that is the cigarette that you take. Those ones are known as the socially acceptable drugs. And then we go to the illicit drugs. Under the legal drugs, we still have control medicines that are sometimes used to manage pains and other conditions that the regular drugs cannot take care of. For instance, the opioids are used to manage pain. They are under the legal drugs, control drugs. And then finally, we have the illicit drugs that are completely banned. They are not, it's not expected to be found with you. Now, coming down to drug abuse simply means the use of drugs for purposes that they're not meant for, they're not prescribed for. Most times, people take these drugs to feel good, just for that, aside health conditions. Now, using these drugs on your own, especially those controlled drugs, are known as, especially illicit drugs, are known as drug abuse.
All right, you're giving us. Okay, you still want to go?
Okay. I think I'll just take a pause there.
Okay. I don't know if that's all you want to tell us about drug abuse. You were talking about the illicit drugs. That's the one that we take, or people take, to get high or to feel better.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's talk about the drug that is accepted, the one you use to treat yourself.
Yes.
Some persons overtake it. Now we have the likes of tramadol, which is also to help for pain, I suppose, but people take it. Now, what would you say about that? Because that tramadol is acceptable.
Now, when I was defining it, I said taking these medicines, it could be the opioids or this, like you called tramadol. Tramadol is usually used for pain when prescribed, when necessary. Now, the use of tramadol on your own is known as drug abuse. They usually take it to feel. And the thing with abusing these drugs is that you might start taking it maybe just to feel good, it makes you feel good, or to evade reality. Maybe you're feeling down, trying to fill a void, you're feeling lonely, and then you take this drug. With time, you still want to take it again. With time, you become dependent on it. That is, you cannot carry out your normal day-to-day activities without taking the drug. And then from there, you develop an addiction. An addiction simply means that there is compelling force, something compelling you to take those drugs, even when you don't have a need for them. When you know that the drugs would harm you, because most of these illicit drugs, of course, are harmful, you still go ahead and take these drugs because of the way they make you feel. So, yeah, that's
Okay,
drug
so
abuse.
looking at the three classes of drugs that you just identified now, what are the effects of drug abuse on victims?
Okay, firstly, these drugs have a way of altering the mind. Like, you begin to see abnormal things as normal. Your thinking state, your thinking pattern is altered. So now the drug distorting the way you think would make you to be less productive. In fact, it can even lead to becoming should I say mad? I didn't want to use that, but let me just. It can lead to psychotic problems.
Okay.
Yeah, it could lead to one developing those problems. And then
when you say psychotic imbalance, I want the layman to understand. It means when you're going crazy.
Yes, mental problem.
Mental problem.
Yes, yes, mental problems.
Okay.
And then coming down to the rest of the other parts of the body, your lungs. People who smoke, they are predisposed to coming down with lung cancer and other lung diseases. And then your liver too. The liver is one organ that is responsible for breaking down these hard substances, with alcohol, the normal medicines you take, these illicit medicines you take. So you overburden the liver, and so the liver begins to function less than it should, and at some point it might even stop functioning entirely. Yeah, and then drug abuse too can lead to death. That's the end state of it. It can lead to death. Aside other things that it makes you not to do your day-to-day activities as you should, you begin to have financial issues because most of these people who abuse drugs, they are not able to think up a source of income. So
when they get, just go
everything
to
goes to the drug. When they don't have money to buy drugs, they go in and start to steal and commit other crimes just to be able to have access to these drugs. So these are some of the effects of drug abuse on the victims.
That's a scary one, and they're dangerous, I would say, when it comes to death. But I just wish that process, when people realize that it's going from one stage to the other, before it leads to death, they can be, caught and probably helped, before it leads to death. Because there are stages before it gets to death. Death is like the final stage, the end bit of drug abuse. Okay, so how can this menace, this drug abuse, how can it be checked in our society, and how can we ensure a drug-free society?
Firstly is the awareness, which is what we are doing now. We have to continue to educate people on the dangers of abusing drugs. There's no benefit for drug use. You don't need it at all. If you want to feel high, like you want that endorphin feeling, there are other activities that can make you feel high.
Okay.
For instance, you could dance, you could exercise, all of those things. Think of the things that you're grateful for, that you have, the things you've achieved, and the ones you plan on achieving. In fact, continue to structure your life, set goals, even if you don't realize them at that time, the time frame you set for yourself. Believe that with time you achieve them. So all of those things can help to boost your endorphin level, and then you feel good about yourself without the need to use drug. Yes, parents as well, it's advised that we catch the children young. You don't have to wait for them to go out and be influenced by peers first. And then I want to point out that parents should lead by example. Don't be that kind of parent who says that follow what I say and not what I do. Because the truth is that these children would always do what you do. So try to structure their lives, teach them how to write, how to plan their day, how to set goals, such that they are kept busy all through their day and there's no time to start thinking of all these harmful activities to do. And then there's this culture of the whites that I admire so much. They allow their children bring in their friends. This way they are able to keep tabs of everything that they do. So if parents can bring their children that close to them, these children would be able to open up to their parents when they come across friends who want to influence them negatively. When they see something that is not so nice to them, they would open up to their parents and then they discuss it. And then this also helps to this way they will boost the confidence level of the children, so that even when they go outside, when their friends are doing a particular kind of thing and they know that, oh, this is bad, they will be able to pull out and maybe look for another group of friends to join. yes, that will help them. So these are some of the basics of preventing drug abuse, yes.
So coming to the society now, you've talked about the parents. Let's talk about the society. What roles, or what are the roles the society has to play in curbing the drug abuse menace? Because it is more in the society. How can they come in to help?
So the part of educating the society is not just for a particular set of people.
Yeah.
A child of one parent is child to all.
Mm-hmm.
So we should look out for, everyone is to look out for his or her neighbor. For instance, you see somebody exhibiting some attitudes that you know that are not normal with the person. For instance, a person becomes really clumsy, looking tattered. A person begins to talk, and you're asking this one, he's answering another one. You should know that this person, there's a problem with this person. And then be kind to that person, first of all, because you know that these people, they don't have control over these things that they do. The drugs are controlling them instead. So if you can, you talk to them, advise them, and then also look out for government agencies that are in charge of this, handling these kind of issues. You could report to the police, or even take them to a rehabilitation center. I think we have one at Warri. So all of this, just look out for your neighbor and talk to them, advise them. Listen to good radio programs and stations like this one that we always talk about these conditions, and that way it will help you to be able to, yes, keep off drug abuse, and also help your neighbor to stay off drugs.
Well, I like the fact you said listen to radio stations like DBS.
Yes,
listen
like
to DBS will always bring that to your doorstep.
Yes.
All right, so what about stakeholders now? What advice would you give to stakeholders on this issue of drug abuse?
When you hear stakeholder, everybody is involved. The government, the health practitioners, pharmacists, doctors, everybody is in it. The government might come in by helping to create more of these rehabilitation centers, so that when we come across people who abuse drugs or who sell these drugs, we can take them easily to these people without having to travel far and wide to access the one that we have. Also, coming down to the pharmacy is usually the first point of call for most of these people who abuse drugs. Pharmacists are always on ground to advise patients on the use of these drugs. For instance, you're having pain, they come for tramadol. We'll advise them to take paracetamol or find the underlying cause of that sickness, not just to take care of the pain. It could be stress causing the headache, for instance. It could be hypertension. It could be any other thing. So try to look for the underlying cause of that condition before taking care of the pain. And then parents, like I've said, they are at home with these children, catching them young. Yes, so it's advised that at home, parents teach their children as well, and play good TV stations for them like DBS, from which they would learn to the things they are meant to do and the things they are not meant to do, the friends they are meant to keep and the ones they are not meant to keep, as well as the things they are meant to ingest and the ones that are not good for them. Generally, do not take drugs on their own without being prescribed.
Yeah. So, yeah. That's a good one. We know that drug abuse has eaten deep, especially amongst our youth. So those that are already affected by those that are already affected, that have been abusing drugs and they have been affected seriously, what help can we give to them?
Firstly, I want to tell them that there is no level that they have reached that they cannot come out from. Like, it is reversible. You can be healed. So you might just usually these people, they hide away because of stigmatization and they don't want to be arrested and jailed and all. But I would advise that you come out and you could go yourself to these rehabilitation centers, and you could also look out for those organizations that help to take care of people with these problems. Yes, so just come out.
And what if they don't want to come out now? Don't you have any agency that goes in search of these ones that have been abused seriously?
Usually they are in hiding, so it is the responsibility is on all of us. If you see somebody behaving strangely, you could even bundle the person, get the police to bundle the person out, because they are not thinking straight, so
Yeah,
they
because
depend
they will
on
not
you
even want to
to.
come out.
Yes, yes. So you have to force them, get help to force them to go for these rehab sessions, because in that rehabilitation center they have everything that is needed to take care of them to get better, come out of it.
Okay, quickly, what factors would you say now actually pushes people into abusing drug?
Most of the time, like I mentioned earlier, it is usually they take drugs to evade reality. They're probably going through a hard time in their life, maybe family, finance, and all, and they just want to feel good. So they feel that taking these drugs would make them, it will temporarily make them feel good, but after some time it will wear off.
In the long run, yes.
And then they want to take another one.
Okay.
And with time, they develop tolerance to these drugs. That is, they require a higher concentration of the drug to be able to achieve that state that they want. Yes, so that can make people to abuse drugs. Peer pressure as well.
Okay.
Children go out with friends in school. You see your friends doing taking drug. You want to feel among. So that is one of the
They just
reasons
want to copy.
Yes, they want to copy. And then from homes too, parents who abuse drugs. A research has shown that children from homes that their parents
Take drugs.
Yes, are likely to take drugs.
Right.
And children who at a young stage start taking alcohol and tobacco are at a higher risk of abusing other hard drugs in future. So that's why we tell parents to lead by example. You don't want your children to do drugs, don't do drugs, and genuinely don't do it. Not that you go and do it behind them, because they definitely find out. Yes, so you might say that you take alcohol from time to time, it's not an abuse. Alcohol, as much as it is a socially acceptable drug, it's a drug. When you take more than 4 bottles of alcohol in a day, or more than 14 bottles in a week, you are abusing alcohol. That is for men. And then for women, if you take more than 3 bottles in a day, or more than 7 bottles in a week, you are abusing drugs. So they are all parts of drug abuse. So everybody has a role to play in it. Yes.
All right, thank you so much. So for those of you taking that black one and you say it's good for the tummy, please do not abuse it. One a day, it's okay. But not 7 a week. Not one every day. At least for a week, take one, it's okay. You have heard it. I've heard it all from pharmacist Francisca talking about drug abuse prevention and how to help the society. Thank you so much, pharmacist.
Thank you.
We actually hope that when we call you again, you will be glad to grace this couch for us.
Always glad to come.
Okay, and so this is where we drop it. But before we drop it, I stumbled on one story, or rather a headline on the Daily Trust, which says petrol is 52 naira per litre in Libya. In Libya, they still sell petrol